Hello, this video is on Enhanced Reports, Configuration, and brought to you by Nelson Systems Incorporated. I'll be using an Eventide Nextlog DX model recorder with software version 2024.3. Enhanced Reports is a licensed feature. If you're interested in adding enhanced reports to your system, please contact our office. I've logged into Configuration Manager. Go to Enhanced Reports, and we'll take a look at all these different parts here. Completed reports, that will be any reports that you have already ran in the system. From here you can access those again. You have different actions available. Click the I to view the report. It'll open it in a new web page. You can click the blue arrow to download the report if a PDF file has been generated for that. If a PDF has not been generated, you'll get a little PDF icon there, and you can click on that to generate the report and then download it. You can download it in the Excel data version, or you can delete the report. You also have the option to filter if you're looking for a specific report. Alright, report templates. These are the reports that are available in your system to run and where you can create new reports. Your system by default will have some sample reports built into it, starting with sample 01. And with the enhanced reporting, when we do the training, we'll set up the monthly enhanced report with you and get that scheduled to run. To edit a report, you would click on that report to look at it to see what it's going to do. If you want to make any changes to it, click Edit Report at the bottom. It'll open up that report template. You can change the title, so if you have made updates to one, you may want to remove the sample 01 from the beginning, and then how many reports you want the system to keep before it starts automatically deleting the older ones. Check the box and set the number that you want retained. There's also some information available for that, and if you float your mouse over any of the blue question marks, it'll give you additional information. And then what color scheme you want to use. Your default parameters lets you set the date range you want for that, so depending on the type of report, it may be a monthly report, weekly report, daily report. You may want to change a monthly report to a year time range and run it to get some yearly stats, whatever date ranges you want to select. Different reports will have different options here for the channel selectors, again depending on what type of report it is. If you want to run ones by call types, you can, and as well as some of the different ones. Again, if there's any information you need, hover over the blue box with the question mark. So this one is call types. It's going to list out the call types that are available in the system. If I do not select any, it's going to use all of those. I can hold down Control and pick and choose if I want to select specific call types for this instance of the report. And then if you wanted to create a PDF file, so earlier I mentioned if the PDF has not been generated, you can generate one and then download it. Here you can select how you want that handled. And if you want the PDF in landscape or portrait. If you want the report to email copies of the PDF document to people, click on Configure Emails, enter an email. If you want additional ones, click Add Email, and you can have a copy sent out when it runs. Generally, if you're testing a report or setting one up, originally do this as your last step. Otherwise, every time you run the report to see what it looks like after you've made a change, you're going to send out another copy. So you may want to do this as your last step. The Permissions tab, which groups have access to run the report and view the report. So if you do want to set that up, you can add groups there. And then you have report layout. So these are the different report blocks that are being used in this template. And here you can add and remove different report blocks. So if you are editing an existing template, you'll see the report blocks. You can click on Configure to configure those and change those. So if you want to remove the Eventide logo and add your own customer logo, you can change the title of this block, select a different image, and then supply some text that you want to show up below the image. Force block on new page, that's going to start a new page in the PDF report with that block. And then if you want to use a small block header, and that's going to be the information that's going to be displayed above the block in the template. And depending on the block type, so this one call count by channel, if I click configure, it's going to have a lot of additional options for me to change. Generally, you only have one recorder. You can change a date range. Maybe you want to have one block running several times and have it be a couple months beforehand, the month before, and then the current month. So you may want a single block several times with different date ranges. Use default parameters means it's going to use what was seen on the original tab of the template when we set it up, so it's going to pull the dates from that, as well as the channel selector. So it was using call types, so it's going to pull those call types in, and then group those by channel name. So again, if you do need information on any of those fields, float your mouse over the question mark. You can apply filters to blocks, so maybe you don't want certain call types or certain phone numbers to be used for the data. You can filter that out. You can filter by any of the fields in the database, and then you can stack those filters as well. And then you can sort the information different ways as well. And then can be a secondary sort. You can pick what type of pie chart you want, or if you don't want one at all, maybe you just want the information. And then if you want a table of the information, maybe you just want the chart, but you don't want the list. Anytime you make updates to the report block or you're finished viewing it, click OK to close it back out. And again, you can scroll through. You can rearrange the report blocks, so if you want them in a different order, just left click and drag and drop. You can also change the size. Some report blocks may not need to be the full width of the report. Left click on the directional arrows in the bottom right corner of that report block, and then you can resize it. To remove one, click the X and it'll delete it from the report. And then to add new or additional report blocks, go down here to the very bottom, click the list. It'll give you an option to search and also list out all the available report blocks. Once you select one, let's see, then you can click About. It'll give you information about that report block. So it'll give you what it looks like in the report and then information about it. And that'll open up in a new tab. Once you're finished with your changes, you can click Save. Also, anytime while you're working on the report, you can click Run to run a copy of it and see what it's going to look like with data from your system. And then once you're finished fine-tuning the report blocks, getting them set up the way you want, sized the way you want, then you can save that report template. If you have a sample report in the system and you want to make changes to it, but you don't want to mess up the original one, you can copy that report template. So highlight the one you're wanting to work with, click on New Report at the bottom, and give it a name. And select Copy Selected Report. So then the report you had highlighted, it'll copy everything in from that report to this new one, and then you can make changes as you like. So we'll click Submit, and now we have the sample 04 copy. We can make any changes to it that we want, and then save it again, and we'll have that then as a new report. And that way we always have the original one to look at. To delete a report template, maybe you've made a mistake on one, you just want to scrap it, or you have one you're not using anymore, highlight that report and click Delete. And it will remove that report template. You can also export and import reports. So if you have another agency that has a report set up and you want to use a copy of that one, or you have one that another agency wants to use, you can export those and import those into the system. And you can also display the most recent run report. So that'll open up a new tab and show you the most recently ran report. Also, when clicking New Report, you can start one from scratch. If you don't copy a selected report, it'll open up empty. You can add the report blocks that you like. Shifts. Shifts can be set up for the different work shifts that you have within your organization. And then some of the reports can be based on those shifts. They'll have report blocks that are specific to shifts, and you can add those to the report. So it can be, again, a daily report, weekly report, whatever type of report you want. But you can set up report blocks to use these shifts that have been added to the system. Now this one already has some built into it. Yours will probably be empty when starting from scratch. So you would click on Add, give it a name, and then pick which days you want to include. Set the time that you want the shift to start and end. And if you want to assign it to a channel group, you can. And then if you want the group to be enabled to use in the report blocks, make sure you have it enabled checked and click Save. And then set up all of your different shifts. To edit one, highlight it, click Edit, make any changes you wish, and then save those changes. And then to delete one, highlight the one you want to remove and click Delete. OK the prompt, and it'll remove that shift from the system. Report blocks, those are the pieces to the report templates. So when we're working on the report templates and we went to add blocks at the bottom, these are all the different blocks that it is pulling from. Once a block has been added to a template, you can make changes to the block configuration at the template level. If you like, you can edit the blocks at the block level so that anytime you use them in a template, they'll already have that configuration in place. So if we choose on one here, call count by call type, we can then click Edit Report Block, and we can make any changes we want to that report block and save it. That will then update that, and if we use it in a template, it'll have those new settings. We can, when looking at a report block, if we want to know more about what data we're going to see from that, we can make our changes or make our settings and then click Preview, and it'll actually pull live data from your system and show you what that data will look like in that report block. And you can also click the About, which will open up the information from the user guide as we looked at earlier. And if you make any changes, click Save, and you will save those changes. You can copy a report block, so if you do not want to edit the original one, click on the one you want to make changes to or make a new one of to make changes to, select it, click on Copy Report Block, give it a new name, and click Submit. It'll then open up that report block for you, let you make any changes, and then save it. So now we should have one in here called Training. And here we go. And then to delete one, highlight the one you want to delete and click Delete Report Block and OK the confirmation. From the list of report blocks, you can also run those and show the documentation from the list, so you don't have to be in the edit view of those. And again, that will open up in a new browser window for you. You can also search the report blocks, so if there's ones your keyword or phrase that you're looking for, you can enter that in to see which report blocks have that information. So if you're maybe looking for mapping, type in map and you can see the report blocks that have information for the mapping. Upload image. This is where you can upload your customer logo and then use that in the reports instead of the Eventide logo. You would click on Upload New at the bottom of the list. Your system should just have maybe one or two Eventide logos in there. Click on Upload New. For image type, you'll leave it set to Custom Report Header Image. It's the only one available. Click on Choose File. Browse out to the file you want to upload. Select it and then click Upload. The user guide has information on the size of the logo as far as the pixels. And when you're ready, click Upload, and it'll upload that into the system for you to use. Geographic areas. That is going to let you set geographic areas that can be used in some of the map report blocks. there'll be an option in there to set it by geographic area. Then you can select one or more of your geographic areas to include data in that report block. So in this system you can see we have quite a few set up. To create a new one, click New Area. It'll open up a map. Zoom into the section you want. Click on the polygon to draw a new area. So if you left click, you can draw the different points. When you get to the last point that you want to do, double left click to close it. And now you have the area. You can click the pencil to edit the area. With the edit mode, you can move the points around once you've added those to the shape, and then you can get additional points as you move those. And you can use the hand tool to move the map around, and the X will clear out your selection. Give it a name and click Submit. And now you'd have that as a new geographic area to use. You can always highlight one to edit an area and make any changes you need. And then you can also highlight those and delete those as well. And you can also import the GeoJSON file, and you can also export the file. And then report configuration. This will be where you have to enter the password for a administrator user account that allows the enhanced report module to interact with the Eventide database. So you would generally, this would be set up by your vendor when setting up the enhanced reporting for you. Alright, any of the reports that you have in the system can be scheduled to run. To do that, you would go to Utilities and Schedules. Alright, once you're in Utilities and Schedules, you'll click on Add and give it a name you want. So if you're running your monthly statistic report that you've set up, give it a name for that. Action type will be Report, and then you can set that for whatever frequency you want. So if it's a daily report, weekly report, in this case a monthly report, we'll set up monthly. And then you'll pick which report you want from your list of reports. So this one's we'll use the test monthly call activity summary report. And you can pick what time you want that to run. So maybe you want it to run at 5 a.m. And you would then set that on the first of each month. And click Save. And then you can see which reports you have scheduled to run. So this one we have a monthly statistics report, monthly stat report, and the Silicon monthly report. And then to edit any of those, to maybe you want to change the time they run or the frequency, highlight the report, click Edit, and you can look at the information and make any changes. You can also set the activation and expiration dates if you only want it to run for a certain time frame. To delete a report, highlight the one you want to remove and click Delete. And you can also duplicate schedules, so if you have a monthly report scheduled to run on a certain time, you can duplicate that and then change the report type that way as well. And if the report is set to send out emails, then that is how this triggers those emails to go out then for that report. This concludes the video. Thank you for watching.